Hi, welcome back to another episode of Scott's Tots, the podcast. Second episode. Uh, Today's episode will be maybe a little shorter than the others. But today we'll be talking about a piece of political propaganda, specifically talking about the 100 Flowers campaign. With this piece of propaganda, here it says, face problems, fix problems, prosper together. And so that was kind of the idea behind the 100 Flowers campaign. So originally, Mao had tried to start this campaign in 56, but it was unsuccessful. Then the CCP tried it again in 56, 57, and that worked at first. Technically, I mean, it did as it was intended to do. At first, it started by saying, let 100 flowers bloom, 100 schools of thought contend. So initially what they were asking was for intellectuals and alike to criticize the CCP's and Mao's, I guess, policies and the way they were doing things. After all, they were going to have to live with them, and it's probably an easy way to appease to the general population and keep them on your side by letting them listen, and Mao thought it would be one way for them to blow off some steam. At first, the intellectuals were cautious about it. After all, a lot goes into criticizing a authoritarian government, and rightfully so. I would be hesitant too. But then in June of 57, they said, "What the heck?" and they did start criticizing, and criticize they did, to the point where it only lasted about a month before Mao said, "No, this has gone too far," and then he closed it off by the end of the month and essentially called them poisoned weeds. So all he did was plant the seeds of the flowers, let them grow, and whipped out the lawnmower. Essentially, this whole situation reminds me of the episode in The Office where Michael Scott, the boss, goes out in front of everybody and starts roasting himself. And then in the end, he walks back into his office screaming or crying. That's what this kind of reminds me of. But yeah, that was generally the impact of the 100 Flowers campaign, however short it was. Tune into the next episode where we'll talk about our final piece of propaganda.